everybody trying to be content creators and trying to go viral. You want to go viral?
Okay, you want to go viral. Let's go viral then.
Say less.
Let go.
Let's embrace it. Let's love it. Let's enjoy it. And let's give them the experience of their life. That's Roswell for you, baby. Come together. And guys, this is Speaking Out Loud. I appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to share and dance like you just don't care. It's early in the morning. Let's have a day. And like I said, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS.
Whoa. Good morning and welcome to Speaking Out Loud. I am your host, Rene Ruiz. And boy, oh boy, was Thanksgiving fun last night. Boys, I woke up this morning feeling a little bloated, as I'm sure you guys did too. I'm juiced. I mean, feeling a little bloated after coming off a big win yesterday. I'm good with it. I took care of business this morning, and I'm refreshed. I'm ready to go. I'm locked and loaded. Unfortunately, JB will not be able to join me as he is in San Francisco. It's a bit early for him over there. It's just a tad bit too early, which I understand, especially after the celebrations that a lot of us had at home. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me this morning, and I'm waking up, getting ready for me. And for those that have to go to work today, let's have a day. Let's conquer today, and let's prepare ourselves to conquer tomorrow. And a lot of that for some of us is going to be maybe just going for a simple walk today. Let's get our 20 minutes in after this show, or if you're watching now and you're not doing anything, let's just go for a walk. Why not? As you listen to me for the next hour as we break down the Dallas Cowboys getting a massive victory over the Kansas City Chiefs. Or maybe we'll talk a little bit about today's game, which is randomly happening at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time here in Roswell, New Mexico. It's going to be the Chicago Bears against the Philadelphia Eagles. And after yesterday's results for Thanksgiving, we, as Cowboy fans, and if you're not a Cowboys fan, I hope that you're slowly being brought in, not only by your friends, but just by the screen that you're watching, by the heart from these boys that they're playing with. I hope that you have a sensitive spot for the Dallas Cowboys this morning, because yesterday wasn't just about America's team. Yesterday was also an opportunity for, to make it a little more tough to get the Kansas City Chiefs into the playoffs, because I think that if somehow, some way, which they're still alive, there's still a slight bit of hope. Both teams coming into this game, as I had said throughout the week, really have room to lose at least one game, but they're going to need a lot of help there on the back end, right? The Chiefs are still alive, but the Cowboys definitely made it easier. There was an expectation before last week where the Colts were going to be able to put the real pressure on the Cowboys to get the Chiefs out of town. If you're in the AFC, I think that you're on the side that you would prefer the Chiefs not to get in the playoffs, because if the Chiefs somehow sneak in, that means they are the hottest team in the AFC. If they sneak in, that means they got to win out these next 5 games they got. And if that happens, I don't know that I would be happy about hosting a playoff game knowing Patrick Mahomes is coming to my city. I would be more nervous than ever. Honestly, I'm more nervous than ever for the next 5 teams that the Chiefs play, which we'll go over in just a few. But yesterday's results, Packers over Lions, 31-24, with Amar St. Brown getting hurt, which is massive, because guess who's going to town next week? Guess who's going to town next week to Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions without an Amar St. Brown? And as Borbas, as E-Rob said on the show, that may have been overseen, is how important Porta, their tight end, is to that Detroit Lions offense. Not only in the passing, but most importantly, in the running game. And the late game that put us into a snooze fest was there in the third quarter. It was a slow game overall, just in general. But the Cincinnati Bengals get a massive victory, 32-14, over the Baltimore Ravens, where it's probably going to get pretty loud for Lamar Jackson. It seemed like it paused just a little bit because a lot of people were hanging it up to him being hurt and whatnot, right? And a lot of people probably feel sorry for him because they feel like there's not much help on the defensive side of the ball. But after yesterday's game, you can't help but watch that game and think, wow, has Lamar Jackson regressed this much? Or is it really just a team thing? And maybe I need to go rewatch that game. So I don't want to hurt any Baltimore Ravens feelings. But from what I saw is what, 5 in a game against a Bengals defense that is non-existent from what I can remember. This is the type of game that gets your coach fired. Really, we saw it in Vegas, right? Chip Kelly getting fired because he can't move the ball against a shite offense or a shite defense. And granted, you can look at this game with Lamar Jackson against the Cincinnati Bengals and think to yourself, well, they were able to get the ball to the other side of the field for whatever reason. They just continue to turn it over. I mean, you look back at that pick from their tight end Likely as he's running and then gets a strip sack or a strip fumble or a fumble. Sorry, I'm fumbling my words here. Gets a fumble going into the end zone and it's a touchback. And that may have changed the momentum of that game, right? And then the turnovers just kind of, they just keep stacking up and stacking up and stacking up. But Baltimore's, this team, although they were winning the last 2 weeks, I mean, they were playing nobodies, which granted you could say the same thing that Cincinnati is a nobody. But when you're a good team, these are the games that you win. And Baltimore is showing us that they might not actually be a good team. They might actually not be a very good team. Now Cincinnati's alive. They got to win out, and they'll be able to get into the playoffs. Will that happen? TBD. I like their chances because they got Joe Burrow, but sitting at 4-8, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But let's honestly talk about what we're actually here for, right? What we're actually here for. And I didn't want to start off glowing right away. I at least wanted to get a nice little intro about what happened yesterday. But boys, it's time to turn it up just a little bit. It is time to turn it up just a little bit. Yesterday's game, I will say, I woke up feeling pretty nicey, as John Gruden says. I woke up feeling pretty nicey as the week was going on. I did, sorry, the comment from Nate here got me because y'all won back-to-back games. Laugh out loud. But I woke up feeling pretty nicey throughout the week. I told you guys I was feeling confident. I like the way they played against Dallas. Our defense continues to stack victories on victories. Dubs, as the kids say, dubs in the chat for our defense. And I'll get into our defense a little bit more here in just a bit. But waking up feeling pretty nicey. I feel confident going into this game. And then immediately, in Cowboys fashion, right? As the game is about to start and our families gather around the table, and man, we're sitting there, national anthem's going off, and then we stand up, and then you hear the end of the national anthem, and it's like, and the home of the... Mind you, right before that, as the national anthem's going on, they're showing the scenes from the stadium. And I don't know about you guys, but immediately I saw blood red. I saw red all over the stadium. I looked at my family like, do you guys see this? Is this a home game for the Dallas Cowboys? Immediately, my confidence level is starting to come down because the last time we saw a team take over a stadium was the Denver Broncos, and I didn't sleep very good that night after that game. If you guys remember, Denver put a beat down on us. And they took over our stadium, flooded it with orange. And that's an instant flashback that I got in my eyes when I saw that. And then to top it off, right? National anthem is going off. I'm standing there like this, just enjoying the beauty of the national anthem that is. And it's the violin, or it was the instrument. So we're singing just a little bit. And it gets to that last part, right? And the home of the Chiefs. I was like, what? I thought it was the Brave. I ain't gonna lie, I got shook up just a little bit. We actually had to rewind it because I had to double check that they didn't just pump audio, that it wasn't just Fox trying to troll us. So I rewinded on YouTube TV, went back, threw it on again, and I kind of tortured myself just a little bit by making myself rehear it. but they hit us with it. And this time, the fans actually sound even better. And the home of the Chiefs, bro. My mom was even like, "Ay, oíste eso?" I was like, "Me too, yeah, mom. I feel you on that one too." I was a little startled. I ain't gonna lie. So in my head, I'm like, if I'm startled, the boys got be a tad bit shaken up in the stadium. Hearing that had to be crazy. Had to be crazy. But slowly but surely, as the game goes on, it felt like at the beginning of the game, hindsight, as we're going in there into the fourth quarter, and you look around, and I don't know if maybe Chiefs fans have started to leave, but I doubt it. It was a close game, right? But you started to see more white, more blue trickle in. And maybe it was just that, hey, the boys were getting a little beer. The boys and the gals were getting a couple beers before kickoff. That might have been exactly what it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chiefs fans were already seated and flooded. So maybe that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the boys and the gals were out getting a drink during the national anthem. That's what I'm going to go with. I hope they had their hand across their chest as they're waiting there in line for their meal a lot. I hope they did. But, boys, that's what I'm going to go with. But so going into that, bit nervous, right? And then Mr. Dak Prescott decides to, you know what? I'm going to give these boys a lead. Again, we're going to give these boys a lead again. That way I can show off my heroics. And, man, did they have us a bit nervous. They had us just a tad bit nervous. Dak throws a pick. Kansas City goes down, scores right away, and it's just like, oh no. Not my Thanksgiving already. First play, immediately send Earl a text, and I'm like, brother, this can't be how my Thanksgiving happens right away. Again, another flashback. I go back, and immediately I'm thinking, the last time we started a game like this outside of Philly, a game that meant everything to this team, was a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers. That's where my mind went immediately. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm just going to be sitting here with my head back, thrown against my couch, looking like a slob, bloated as ever. But no. Guess what? Mr. Dakota Prescott had a little something in mind. Buddy went for 27 for 39, 320 yards. That one interception at the beginning of the game. And then Buddy was absolutely cooking. 2 touchdowns. And then guess what? There was a lot of criticism as I defended our boy 88 throughout the week because of what happened in Philadelphia over the weekend. Our own national radio station was coming for Ceedee Lamb's head. The people that you think have your back were stabbing it. Goose. They said, is Ceedee Lamb wide receiver 1? I don't know. I don't even know if he's wide receiver 1 on his own team. People were saying maybe Ceedee Lamb's washed. And then Ceedee Lamb came out for an interview, and he said before the game, the day before the game, right? And he goes, I just got to catch the effing ball. I just got to catch the effing ball. Sorry, Nate. I'm not trying to ignore you here. Boys on a roll. Give me a second. I got you. But they were coming after my boy Ceedee Lamb. We had to defend our boy just a little bit because we wanted to remind you guys that we can't be a prisoner of the moment in every situation. Sometimes you have to look at a player's history to understand that there's trends, and sometimes that trend will work in our favor, as it did yesterday. As I broke down the numbers for you guys on Wednesday's show, and I told you guys statistically, if Ceedee Lamb has a bad game, guess what he's going to do? If you call, he'll answer. And that's exactly what it did. That phone was buzz, buzz, ring, 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 ring. And guess what Ceedee Lamb said? Come on, son. Come. Hello? Buddy. Ceedee Lamb was cooking. 9 targets, 7 receptions, 112 yards, and a touchdown. You want me to say it one more time for our Ceedee Lamb haters? 7 receptions on 9 targets, 112 yards, and 1 touchdown. And no, that wasn't garbage time yards, baby. That was in the grind. Ceedee Lamb was out here doing what he does, proving the folks wrong yet again, and proving us right. And then my sisters were trying to rage bait me during the game because guess who else also had a good game, bro? The man, Mr. JP3 or GP3, my bad. George Pickens, also known as wide receiver one. And that's okay, boys. It's okay to call him wide receiver. It's okay to call both of them wide receiver one because guess what? We have two wide receiver ones on this squad. And instead of trying to turn them against each other, let's just embrace it as they are. They're happy for one another. If you remember that on one of Ceedee Lamb's touchdowns when he hits the celebration, George Pickens 40 yards down the field is doing the exact same thing. These boys are pumped for each other, man. They want to see each other's success. There's no ego in these guys. The ego for them is to be better, to not be satisfied, to continue the grind. 6 receptions, 88 yards. It felt like it's almost on purpose. 88 crucial yards by Mr. George Pickens, bro. And I'll say this. My sisters were trying to rage bait me just a little bit. Every time he caught the ball, they'd be like, that's a wide receiver one. And you know what I came to conclusion is? As people try to split up this wide receiver duo, I came to the conclusion that, hey, guess what? Maybe if you were to put Ceedee or George Pickens on all 32 or all 31 or other teams, if you put either one of these two on any of those 31 teams, you'd be asking the same question: who is wide receiver one? Oh, and I know you're thinking, whatever, you're crazy. If you put them with the Cincinnati Bengals, are they going to be wide receiver ones against Jamar Chase? Yes. Yes, they are. What, Minnesota, you don't think either of these boys are going to be wide receiver one as well? Yes. Yes, they are. This year, yes. Justin Jefferson can be on the other side. Guess what? You have wide receiver one, and then you have a wide receiver one. It's going to be the same situation because you're not going to be mad which direction your quarterback slings that rock to. No, you're not. No, you're not, boys. And if you're a Chiefs fan, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, man, you guys got lucky, right? There's a lot of penalties. There's a lot of penalties. It was hard to watch every now and then. But boys, you can't have your hands on wide receivers. Especially when you got to turn and make a play. It's that simple. You got to turn and make a play. Got to turn and make a play on the ball. Ceedee Lamb was cooking Duffy out there, right? Ceedee Lamb was out there torching Duffy, bro. I at one point actually felt pretty bad for him. And now we're sitting at a 19% chance to make the playoffs. Boys, we're on a generational run here to get into the playoffs. And I'm sorry that I keep saying boys because I know that there's some lads that watch this as my beautiful sisters and my beautiful wife and my beautiful mother. But I'm just calling it because you guys are one of the boys, man. That's how I see it. You guys are one of the boys. I love, man. Chiefs. It's tough. I know Jay's hurting a little bit because he probably felt like, I'm sure he's heard about the penalties really more than anything. Jay, is that fair to say? Yeah, Chiefs fan, are we like upset about the penalties? Is that what, or what did we see? What did we see from this Chiefs team that we didn't like? Cornerback play.
Yeah,
Secondary was
secondary's trash.
yeah. I don't know if they're trash though. I would relax when we say that. We got to remember they're going against two wide receiver ones. I mean, you're going against one of the most elite offenses in the NFL, and it just happened to be clicking for them. The one thing I did like about the Chiefs, I mean, they just stayed in this game. Really, I know Patrick Mahomes is on that side of the ball, so it never feels like they're out. But they were genuinely in it. I mean, it just seemed like the offense couldn't necessarily get anything going. I think if we're going to point anything out on the Chiefs side of the ball, it would be that they just had massive drops in big moments. So I think if you're the Chiefs, I still feel optimistic about them possibly getting into the playoffs because this isn't a game that was far out of reach for them. I mean, we're talking about a Travis Kelce third down drop down the middle that probably, I think at the time when that happened, they were driving down to go take a lead, if I remember correctly. Like those drops were massive. And you know what's crazy is there was a moment where Dallas is driving down. I think this was in the fourth quarter. We're driving down. This Jay, maybe refresh my memory. But do you remember when George Pickens fumbles it? Duffy punches it out, and then it bounces out of bounds. I think it was the fourth quarter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fourth quarter. So as they're driving down, I look at my brother and I go, I'm like, I'm still a little bit nervous because around this time, this is when something typically will bounce the Chiefs' way. And then sure enough, next play, I say, come on, boys. We just got to hold on to the ball. Whatever you do, you hold on to the ball. Next play, Dak throws out to George Pickens. Duffy comes, boom, punches it, pops out. And in my head, I'm just like, oh, no. Oh, no. Ball goes out of bounds immediately. I'm like, all right, brother. I think I honestly feel confident that we're going to pull off this victory because typically that ball stays in bounds and the Chiefs recover and they're driving back down the field. But the football gods are putting their hands over the Dallas Cowboys throughout this entire game and just blessing them. Absolutely blessing these brothers. Ball goes out of bounds. We still get it, and we're able to score there. At that point, that's when I was like, all right, I feel pretty good. I can lay back and really start to look forward for this generational playoff run that the Dallas Cowboys are on and be able to enjoy it. Yeah, and if you look back, my bad. Turpin did recover it. Yep.
You're talking about the first one where they stopped Rashid Rice, where he tried to reach out and they hit it and it went out of bounds.
Yes.
The second one was Turpin recovered it right there in the end zone.
Sorry, you're right. Turpin did recover it. And if we look back at that highlight, Turpin, it seemed like Turpin saw it about to happen. I think Turpin had the same mindset. He's just like, hey, yo, we just got to stay on alert. And I'm sure that was practiced throughout the game, is always be ready, because that defense, that Chiefs defense is known for punching balls out. And I know you were frustrated with the secondary, but I really do think if we're going to point to anything, it's going to be those drop passes from the Kansas City Chiefs. It was just too crucial. It was too big. And they just caught a fire team with their backs against the wall in a game where typically Dallas would drop it. I mean, dang, man. Like, if you're the Chiefs, you just hang it up to you don't have to necessarily agree that they're the better team. They just had a better night. It was just one of those days. It was one of those days. And as Cowboy fans, as we turn the chapter here, but we're not going to turn the chapter until we listen to the post game interview. So let's listen to this real quick. Let's go to the locker room of the Dallas Cowboys. Let me pause it real quick. Boy, this just came into my head. Bro, Fergie in the pregame, just stuffing that turkey straight into his arms or straight into his hands. That was funny. That was funny. Bro just straight up said, huh. And he passed it. Here, you want to bite? 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 Brother, what? W in the chat for Fergie, bro. That was cool. That was a good moment. The boys seemed to all love it. Each one of them took a nice low bite. All the offensive linemen, or all the stars, took a nice low bite. But let's give off a couple kudos before we let Brian lead the show for us for a second. Kudos to the Cowboys offensive line, first of all. Kudos to the Cowboys offensive line. Javonte Williams, when Spags sent a couple blitzes, bro, Javonte Williams alone, I know didn't have a big night in the running game, but massive pass blocks in the backfield by Javonte Williams, brother. Hey, Javonte, come on, baby. Come on, that's how you ball out. That's how you show up. That's how you show up, Javonte. If you don't make a massive impact in the running game, how else do you do it? You keep yourself involved and block. The wide receivers do it to you, do it for you down the field, which we've seen as of late from Ceedee Lamb and George Pickens, where the boys are staying involved down the field, blocking for the big plays. Javonte Williams gave a gift back, and he said, guess what, boys? I'm going to give Dak another extra 2 or 3 seconds to find you boys down the field. And that's exactly what happened here. So shout out to Javonte. That was massive for our boys. Massive for our boy yesterday. And then now we look over to, I mean, the obvious answers to cheer up, right, is Dak, is George Pickens, Ceedee Lamb for their big game. And they did. And that's why they got applauded in the post-game speeches, which we'll listen to here in just a bit. But also, bro, I know our defense gave up 28 points, and when you look at that, you're immediately like, probably didn't look very good. No, man. We got a defense, bro. In reality, these guys probably really only gave up 21 points outside that garbage touchdown there at the end. Two weeks with 21 points. That's impressive, bro. That's impressive. Giving up 21 points the last 2 weeks. Rigo Martinez 9395 says, do they win the Super Bowl? Hey, let's chill out. Let's go week to week here. Let's live in the moment. Let's just reel it back. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are on a generational run to get into the playoffs. Let's stick with that headline. Let's enjoy that headline. And then when we actually accomplish it, then we'll start looking at that question. But as of right now, let's stay here. Let's stay in the pocket. What are the chances of winning the Super Bowl? Right now, buddy, we got a 19% chance to get in the playoffs. Right now, we got a 19% chance to get in the playoffs. Let's focus on that. But we got to shout out our defense for balling out. We have something. Quentin Williams did not only bring his athleticism, his skills, he brought that heart and that brain over with him. And these boys are balling out. Outside of Overshown getting juked by Patrick Mahomes there in the first quarter, outside of that, we got something going. Outside of that, we got something going. Overshown is here to stay. Agent Zero, I've been telling y'all, we're waiting for this boy to come back. Was it a little too late? Maybe. TBD, to be determined. But as of right now, this defense has juice. This defense has me excited about the years to come. It feels like right now, a lot of us, not me. I want to remind you guys, not me. I've been hanging on to the belief that Matt Eberflus will be able to get something going with this defense. Because every time we watch the games, it always feels like we're in the right spots. We just aren't making the plays. And as of late, doesn't it feel like we've been making those plays? And the football God sprinkling just a bit of blessings every now and then on us by some crucial drop passes in big moments. Now, will that come back to bite us in the tush at some point? I hope not. But boys, right now it feels good. Right now it feels good, man. Shout out to them boys. Let's go into the locker room and listen to the post-game speech by Shotty and the boys. Oh, here comes Philly. Right? This boy was still handing out bites. He's like Oprah Winfrey right here. You want a bite? You get a bite.
Hey, everybody up!
Turkey legs look good too.
Hey, listen up. Hey, how about those last 4 days? How about those last 4 days? The heartbeat of this football team is different. I'm going to say that again. The heartbeat of you men, this team is different. And I'm so proud.
Bro, when he says that, bro, I feel that. He's not just talking to the boys in the locker room. That statement right there is not only for them, it's for the world, bro. Cause you can't tell me you watch that game. I'm telling you, my boy Nate don't like the Cowboys, bro. Every chance he gets, he tries to throw a little bit of a blow. Nate would be my buddy. Every chance he gets, he throws a little bit of shade. If there's one guy in the group chat that stays consistent, Mr. Nate Reyes. But I bet you anything, right now, what he's seeing from this Dallas Cowboys team, with the world against them, their backs against the wall, all the ish talk that's been going on, not only to Ceedee Lamb, to George Pickens, but Dak Prescott and that defense. there's a different heartbeat going on right now around the world in America. And it feels like, you know how they make that statement, America's team? It's because we have a soft spot for the world. It feels like we're at a point where, like, at this point, you almost just feel sorry for our fan base. Or you have a friend that you actually genuinely feel sorry for, and you're just like, damn, honestly, just seeing that dude that happy, it kind of makes me want to root for his team just a little bit. I think that's where we're at right now. That heart post right now, right? Boop, 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 boop. I think that's kind of hitting everybody. I think so, Jay. I think so. All right, let me get back to that. I'm sorry, boy. Thank you.
I will fight with you guys anytime, any place.
Yo, me too, Shotty.
Listen up. Hey, we're gonna start with the sacks. You ready? Here we go. Davey Clowney has sack. Yeah. Dante Fowler has sack.
Yeah.
Davey Clowney has no sack.
Yeah.
Okay, here we
Clowney
go.
was cooking,
Touchdowns. Dak hit past Ceedee. Yeah. Malik Davis 43 on it.
Yeah, that Malik Davis touchdown was big, huh? Malik Davis, come on, baby. Malik Davis, who gets limited touches. And the boys were absolutely... Look at the locker room right now, bro. A guy that rarely gets any touches, and the boys are absolutely buzzing. You look on the sideline, Javonte was hyped for his boy getting the touchdown. It was no saltiness. This team is about just playing together. And the wins will come with it.
Hey, and then, he made a tackle on next kickoff. Hey, Dak had a touchdown pass to Javonte. Yeah. And then Dak had a touchdown pass to GP. Yeah. Brandon Aubrey had a 26-yard field goal. Yeah. Brandon Aubrey had a 36-yard field goal. Yeah. And then Brandon Aubrey had a 49-yard field goal. Yeah. And the Cowboys win. Yeah.
Let's go, bro. Oh, my goodness. Boy, does it feel good. Boy, does it feel good. Oh, man. What does it say? Breaks the streak from a 40-plus yard score since 2022. Let's go through a couple fun facts from this game. Let's go to the insights according to NFL Plus. Let me pull this up real quick. Sorry, boys. Man, them boys are buzzing, bro. It just feels so good. I just hope that it's not. I just hope that it's not too late. We do have to acknowledge that if these moves happen a week earlier, we definitely have a different feeling heading into the end of the season. Jerry may have made the right decisions, but they may have came just a little too late. And I don't want to put a damper on anything, but I think as Cowboy fans now, let's enjoy it, right? Let's enjoy the win, massive win. But now I think we turn the page to, as I was saying earlier, when we turn the page, which let's do it now, right? Let's flip the page. Boom. So now that game is behind us. It was a great win. Great win. But now this is where we find out what type of team we have. All the hype that I just had about them. All the excitement. Now we get to sit on it for a week and a half as these boys prepare for the Detroit Lions, who are without Porta, which is in our favor. St. Brown, another player who is in our favor. And we've seen that this team is very gettable, right? Very gettable. And Santiago's right. I feel like when 94 Nealon passed, it just brought a different juice to the team. This was something they needed to bring them closer together. Reminds me of, I don't know. That's probably a bad comparison there, but I get what you're saying. Terrible comparison, but I get what you're saying. Two completely different situations, but I get what you're saying. Completely opposite situations. Sorry, man. You got me off track on that. That would call me off guard, but this is what I'm saying. This is where we turn the page because now the pressure really is on the boys, right? Now the expectations have been brought up here. And I know last week that was the conversation going into the Kansas City Chiefs games, but to me, I didn't think so yet. I thought it was too soon to say that we have such high expectations, and then this is where Dallas would typically fold when when the lights get a little too bright. And I didn't feel that. I didn't feel those nerves. I didn't think that at all going into this game. I legitimately thought we had a chance, and I felt like we were going to win. I thought we were the better team going into this game or that matchup. Outside of Patrick Mahomes, like overall, feels like we're a better team. But with that being said, now we look forward, and you're like, okay, now the pressure is on Dallas because now we have an expectation for them to go to Detroit and do exactly what they did to Kansas City and Philadelphia. And I set this up to tell you guys that when it does happen and the conversations start to swirl around what that win means, I'm telling you now, the media is going to come after us. Right now, we're this beautiful Cinderella story. Right now, we're America's heartbeat. But this is going to turn on. They're going to turn on us quick, boys. And we got to stay together just like the boys are in the locker room. Don't turn your back. And always on the back of your mind, remind yourself that we have one. We can lose one game. And I'm not saying we're going to lose to the Detroit Lions. All I'm saying is all I'm doing is reminding you. We have the room to make one mistake. I don't think it's going to happen against the Detroit Lions, but I'm telling you what the media conversation is going to be around this, leading into it. It's going to be, point numero uno, it's going to be that Dallas folds in the biggest of situations, in the biggest times when the most lights are on them. This is typically when they would fall apart, right? And as that game started with Kansas City yesterday, you're probably thinking, you're like, yep, this is the same old Cowboys, right? Immediately, it's probably what you're thinking. But that's going to be the amount of pressure that's going to be on them against the Detroit Lions. Because now there's expectations. Now we expect them to win that game, I think. And they need to win that game. Not only for the W, but it's important because there's a possibility that game can come down to a team getting into the playoffs due to the head-to-head matchup. And we need that head-to-head win against this Detroit Lions. I actually think the Detroit Lions game is more important than the win over the Kansas City Chiefs. Because of that head-to-head situation, if both teams have the same record and you got to pick one, guess what? They're going to pick the team that has the head-to-head win over one another, which is as they should, right? So next week's game to me is the most important. And it's in Detroit. But I don't think anybody can – this team is absolutely rolling right now. Let's read a couple little insights from yesterday's game. Dak Prescott threw for 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception on the Thanksgiving. Let's go. Fun insights here. Let's see. Give me some good ones. Let's see. This is a little compliment on our defense. Pat Mahomes has been held to 1 pass touchdown and 3 interceptions with a 72.7 passer rating over the last 3 games. Mahomes had 17 pass touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and 103 passer rating prior to that in week 1 through 8 this season. Oh, that was a little bit of shade at Patrick Mahomes, right? So as of late, the last 3 weeks, although they had been winning coming up into this game, Patrick Mahomes, if you've watched, maybe there should be a little bit more conversations about Patrick Mahomes regressing this year. Maybe we shouldn't be as scared as what we think we should be, right? Dak Prescott and George Pickens. Dak Prescott has a 134.4 passer rating when targeting George Pickens in 2025, the highest in the NFL among all duos with 70-plus targets. Prescott also has 116.5 passer rating when targeting Jake Ferguson, the highest by any quarterback tight end duo in the NFL. Right now, you just read those 2 things, and we've already seen what CD 88 is doing, and immediately you go, "Damn, Dak is having a year, huh?" And I know. We shut the door on a couple people's MVP conversations. We did Dak, right? When we did Josh Allen, because there was some pretty bad. And this might be a prisoner of the moment. This is 100% prisoner of the moment. But hey, it feels like Dak is right there to open up that book once again. Because there's no just complete standout that says, hey, this guy's MVP right now. And because of that, this keeps my boy alive. But I'll tell you what, if that gets this Cowboys team into the playoffs, they should. Roger Goodell should go to Jerry's World and hand him that MVP trophy. If Dak Prescott can get this team to the playoffs, you give him the MVP. I don't care what Josh Allen is doing. Which Josh Allen they did just sign Brandon Cooks, former Dallas Cowboy wide receiver. He was with the New Orleans Saints. They released him, and now he is going to be in Buffalo, which they got a whole situation going on over there with him, with Keon Coleman, who had been a healthy scratch the last 2 weeks and is now, I mean, it seems like it's up in limbo on what's going to happen with Keon Coleman, and it's a healthy scratch. So that just tells you it's either disciplinary, either Buddy is messing around at practice or being late to meetings and they're trying to prove a point, or it's just a lack of skill, I guess, right? That might not be the correct term to use, but maybe he's just regressing. Maybe he's not working well with Josh Allen. But whatever it is, they got to figure it out over there in Buffalo. But let's make a couple picks, brother. We got 20 minutes left. I appreciate you guys listening to that beautiful rant of our wonderful win by the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. Man, boy, everything is going to taste so good today, Jay. My coffee this morning, black. But you would have thought I had creamer in it, brother. I didn't even wait for it to get cold, man. That's how my taste buds were on fire. Didn't even notice. That's how good it was. Didn't even notice. It felt like I was just drinking Dubs. Just glow, 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 glow. Man, it felt good. It felt good. I feel so bad because Jay, the producer, is a Chiefs fan. So probably hearing him listen to me talk, it's probably like he probably wants to end the broadcast. No, because you understand that you guys still have a chance. You can't win the Super Bowl every year. What an answer by a Chiefs fan. What an answer by a Chiefs fan. He said you can't win the Super Bowl every year. The fact that you're allowed to even make that statement, I hate it. They deserve what's happening to them right now, bro. It's good. It happens. When you win so much, you become the villain, right? You become the villain. When you win so much, you become the villain. And right now, we're in a place where it feels like everybody just, hey, it'd be better if the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, because then we wouldn't have to worry about that being answered. Because to me, if the Chiefs get in, boys, if the Chiefs get in, AFC, watch out. Watch out. Drew Sanchez said, my Eagles better get it together today against the Bears. You know what? Let's talk about that game real quick. Before we make our picks, actually, as we make our picks, because this is the first game today, I'm a fly Eagles dude today. You know, I've been trying to figure out how the Cowboys are going to get into the playoffs. And what I've came to find out, or a couple questions were answered for me just off yesterday, because the Packers beat the Lions. So it automatically tells me for sure we're not rooting for Detroit to do anything. We need Detroit to lose out at this point. And it feels like it is possible. It does feel like the regression in Detroit is happening before our eyes so fast. It's like 2 years, and then now look at where we're at. But this goes to show how important an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator are to a team. So even though we're happy for these guys being promoted, at the same time, you almost are wishful that they stay. I asked my brother the same question. He's a San Francisco 49ers fan, and I told him, man, that defense in San Francisco is buzzing without Bosa. But like, a part of you has to think that Robert Saleh is not going to stay in San Francisco next year when everybody's offering him a job next year. Right? You got to think that. And then for Philly fans, you're like, damn, we got to go find another juggernaut to come and call this offense, because our head coach can't get his head out of his ass and call plays for us because he's no good at it. At least that's what I've been hearing from Philly fans. When I asked the question, why isn't Nick Sirianni taking over play calling at this point? Isn't there some type of level of frustration where you say, like, all right, enough is enough? Right? Why hasn't Nick Sirianni taken over play calling? All the responses that I've got on the YouTube clips that we've posted is Nick Sirianni stinks. Nick Sirianni's like Floyd Mayweather, can't read a book. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. Floyd Mayweather? I was like, dang, that's tough. But you want to know what Floyd Mayweather did do? All he did is what? All he did was win. So hey, take it as you will. But us not rooting for the Lions fans, it falls perfectly in place with what we said on Monday. Whenever me and E-Rob gave you the breakdown of how the Cowboys get into the playoffs, and it's by the Packers winning the division and absolutely going to Pound Town on the Bears because they played the Bears twice. And the downfall of the Chicago Bears starts today. And I don't feel good about saying this. I have been kind of praising the Eagles throughout the year because like Floyd Mayweather, all they do is win. They are 8-3, number 2 in the NFC. They did lose to the Cowboys, a very hot team. But we still got to have a sense of respect for a team that has shown us they are able to bounce back. Okay? And we need them today. As Cowboy fans, we need Philadelphia to show up today because I think it's easier. I think it's more likely that the Cowboys get in a wild card position. And I know this next statement I'm about to say, you guys are gonna be like, you're delusional, and you might want to hit X on the screen and like, oh, this guy's an idiot. But just stay with me here. Stay with me here. The easiest path to the playoffs for me, from my perspective, is the wild card position. But I have seen, or I have thought, I don't want to say seen because I haven't seen it, and I don't know who I would put on blast to say that that's who I heard it from. But, a little nugget in my head was like, what if Philly is the one that has the massive downfall? But you look at their schedule, and it's like, it's more likely that Chicago, if you look at their schedule and Detroit's schedule, it's more likely that those two teams fall apart over the Eagles. Especially because the Eagles are going to play Washington and New York, so that's kind of that. Those two alone, right there, those gimmies, which they may not be gimmies, and if Philly falls apart, like that would be a blessing in disguise from the football gods for the Dallas Cowboys. So I'll take it as we will, and I might jump on that train if Philly loses today. But as of today, it feels like a pro Philly day, like a fly Eagles fly day. Going against Chicago, and I'll remind you guys, let's look at their schedule so that way you guys understand what I'm saying here. So outside of today, so let's just say they take the L, right? Sitting at 8-3, so they'll be sitting at 8-4, and then they got the Packers the following week, so that would be 8-5, right? And how many losses we got? We got 5, so all of a sudden we're right here, right next to each other. And then Shedeur Sanders may come into town, which maybe I'll give Chicago that win. That's a dub. So they'll go 2-1 in the next 2 games, but then they got to play Green Bay again. And then after that, they got San Francisco. And then right after that, they got Detroit, which that final game may be the game for whoever stays alive. And then Chicago has the head-to-head against the Cowboys. So we need Detroit to still make a move here. So I feel like Chicago's downfall is about to happen. He said, I don't think we need to catch the Eagles. I agree the wild card is the most likely. Yeah, for sure. That's where we're at, Johnny. I think that's where we're at. So today, I think we're a big Fly Eagles Fly fan base, or we join the fan base, the group of people that we don't necessarily enjoy. But this ain't politics, baby. We can come together because we understand the deal here. Hey, Philly, do your job for us. Do your job for us. And if you want to be assholes, don't. Honestly, if you want to rain on the parade of all Dallas Cowboy fans, don't. Like, just go drop this game. Go drop this game. That'd be crazy. I'd hate it, but I'm going to take Philly, not only because of biasness, 100% biasness. Everything is biased about this pick. I'm picking this based on favoritism of us getting into the playoffs. And Johnny's saying, I still can't root for them. You have to. We need them. We need them. You can do it silently. You don't even got to say it out loud, but I know right here in the noggin. This Johnny, you're allowing your emotions to dictate what the brain is feeling. And right now, you know in your head what we need, but your heart won't let you, right? It's like when we bet. When you make a bet, there's nothing worse than making a bet on personal feelings because you almost know you're probably going to lose, right? And that's why I try to stay away from betting from the Cowboys, not only because if it doesn't hit, it's a double whammy. It makes you lose money on top of losing a bit of pride. But this is a game that Philly absolutely has to get it together. And this is how Eagle fans feel right now. I hope that last game lit a fire under Jalen for the rest of the season, and he lights a fire under the rest of the offense and the offensive line, especially. I would just love to see some creative runs. That's what they need. I'm not saying we got to get trickery, we got to get tricky, or we got to get fancy, or we got to get cute. Let's get a little bit more motion at the offensive line or at the line, and let's get Saquon to bounce. I mean, it feels like we can't run down the middle to save our lives, right? Let's just be creative. Let's be a little creative. That might be asking a lot from that offensive coordinator, but at some point, Nick Sirianni is going to have to pull the plug. I know that's his boy, but at some point, he's going to have to pull the plug. So right now on the week, I'm 2-1. I went with Green Bay. I went with the Dallas Cowboys money line. Me and Earl put a parlay together, just a little 2-team parlay, and cash, baby. Cash, 20 to win 100. Come on, baby. Barkley's got to come alive. But, guys, mind you this, okay? The Bears, although they're sitting at 8-3, third in the division, third in the conference, they haven't looked great, man. Last week's game, you would think that with Aaron Rodgers, it definitely felt like the Steelers probably won that game. That felt like a game that the Steelers gave away rather than Chicago going out and getting it. The Vikings game, same thing. Nine didn't ball out. And a lot of folks don't even want to see Nine. Nine being J.J. McCarthy. A lot of folks just want to see J.J. McCarthy. Because we don't know who the hell Nine is. At least with J.J. McCarthy, we know that he's one of the best players in football to be able to hand the ball off. One of the greats. National champion because he did that. Before that, they played the Giants. Shouldn't have won that game. Jackson Dart goes out in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, the comeback starts to happen. So really, they've just been blessed by lack of QB play. The only one game that I thought that was amazing on how they performed was the Cincinnati game where they won 47-42 and Caleb Williams goes down, drives for them to win the game. But before that drive, Cincinnati actually came back to be in that situation. Joe Flacco goes down, scores, takes the lead, and then Cincinnati's defense completely falls apart. I don't see that happening with this Eagles team. I don't see Philly blowing another lead like they did against the Cowboys last week to the Bears. I don't see that happening because good teams don't do that back-to-back. And if the Eagles are going to show us that they're a good team and that all the talk around them, all the chatter around them is just BS, today's the day to do it. On Amazon Prime, in front of the world, at a random-ass time on a Friday at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time here in Roswell, New Mexico, pretty early. I don't know if the NFL forgot. People still work the day after Thanksgiving. I don't know if they forgot. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of games on a lot of computers around the world. But this is Philly's time to show they are a good team. And if they drop this game, I think we just have to look at it as Philly is exactly what they're showing us. If they drop it. And if you're a Philly fan sitting at 8-4, I know people are going to be like, yo, we're 8-4. Like, we got nothing but good ahead of us. Do you? We've seen these drop-offs before. From when teams start the seasons 12-0, 11-0, 10-0, and then we see a massive decline come when football actually starts in November, December. Philly can't let that happen, brother. I'm going to take Philly today because I believe that Philly's a good team. And good teams don't drop back-to-back games or blow leads back-to-back. And I believe that Philly's going to come out hot and make some plays. And I don't know if it's Saquon or if it's that wide receiving core. I believe that Philly will have a game overall, and the storyline tomorrow will be: are the Eagles back? Is Philly back? Maybe 2 scores from the defense. That's the one thing that keeps me hopeful for this Philadelphia team. Is their defense is playing well. At the beginning of the season, they were leaning on the offense, right? We were starting to question the secondary for Philadelphia. And somehow they just grind out wins. And now you see the reverse, right? Now all the questions are 100% on the offense. And I don't know that we're asking very many questions on defense. And I know you can look at last week and point the fingers on defense if you wanted to, but brother, they gave you a 21.0 lead, and you can only play defense for so long, and you can only go 3 and out and expect us to play great defense after getting a 2-minute break and having to go handle Ceedee Lamb and George Pickens. So, I get that. But this defense, bro, as they get healthier and healthier, this is a defense I wouldn't want to see. And if that offense can just find some type of groove, I'm sure Philly fans are sitting there like, boys, oh my goodness. The potential. They've seen it before. They won a Super Bowl off of it. And I'm not trying to be a nice guy here and wear a Cowboy jersey and compliment you guys. I just want to be realistic. And if I'm sitting in your shoes, we've seen runs like this. You look back at Nick Foles, you look back at even last year or the year before, when they got to the Super Bowl and lost, like, for whatever reason, this team hits a switch out of nowhere. But when they hit that thing, boy, they hit that thing hard. Kobe Bryant once had a quote that said, "You put a wall in front of me, I'll run straight through it." And the one thing that I hated about Kobe Bryant, I loved everything else. The one thing I hated about dude is that he was a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And it feels like somewhat that the city of Philly lives off on that statement. That's their fix. You put a wall in front of me, we run through it. And that's what they got to do today. Because right now there isn't an absolute wall in front of them. And it's not necessarily the Chicago Bears. It's just life. And what are you going to do, Philadelphia? Are you going to do what Kobe Bryant said and run through that damn thing? Or are you going to fall back? And that's what we find out from the Philadelphia Eagles. But let's go ahead and make these picks real quick. So San Francisco against Cleveland. You got San Francisco playing Shador. Shador, another week behind with a bunch of reps with the number ones, as he was being criticized, or as the organization was being criticized because Shador had never had 1 reps, right? Which you wouldn't expect from a third string quarterback. But for whatever reason, the media made it a big deal. It is what it is. But I think San Francisco keeps it rolling. I love Cleveland. I'm actually excited to go to watch this game this weekend. I'm sure Cleveland Browns fans are excited. I'm sure they're probably calling up the buddies like, yo, let's order some pizza, get a couple briskies, let's hang out, and let's enjoy this game, because you feel like there's life back there. And then after watch Brock Purdy throwing 3 interceptions, you're like, oh, wow, guess what? We have a better defense. So we do have a chance. I do like this being a close game at first, but I see San Francisco pulling off at the end. I think Brock Purdy 3 interception game was just, hey, a little rust. Gotta shove it off. You want to know what news from San Francisco does make me nervous, though, is the fact that this blew my mind. Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers are breaking up? Didn't Buddy just sign a massive deal and he's still complaining? What's nuts is there's some Instagram video going around of him going to buy like $500,000 chains, and the contract got voided. Voided meaning not gonna get any of it. The guarantees are out the door, and they're parting ways after the end of the season. Which I don't what even happened? I got to dig into that story a little more, man. I'm going to let you guys know on Overreaction Monday what the hell is going on with Brandon Ayuk and what happened with Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers. Because from the outside looking in, it's like, what? They gave you everything you wanted. They gave you the wide receiver 1 spot. They let go of Deebo Samuel because they believed in you. And you showed us exactly the person you were or are. I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my head around it, and I don't want to overreact. I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. But as of right now, outside looking in, it's like, what? They gave you the keys. And your response is to spit in their face? It makes no sense. And it would be different if the quarterback was like trash. It'd be different if he was playing with like Geno Smith right now. Then you would have an excuse to want out of town. Then I would understand why you wanted out. But like he's almost in a perfect situation in San Francisco. And he decides to pull this. Like, what? And I don't even know what this is. Like the news just came out and it was just like, oh, so casual. Like it had been going on forever, which I guess it had been. And now it's just like, yo, here's this little nuggie. And it's like, what? I guess the bright side for San Francisco is you get rid of this diva, right? See ya. And then guess what? Guess who's looking for a wide receiver 1 contract? Oh, I hate this for us. You don't think San Francisco can move all that money that they had offered to Brandon Ayuk and say, hello, Mr. George Pickens. Come through, mate. That's what I was thinking about. Whenever I saw that report, I'm just like, they're going to come grab my boy. They're going to come get George. No me gusta. No me gusta, brothers. And I hate to even throw that out into the universe. But that's how. Stay away. Stay away. But we'll follow up on that on Monday. But give me San Francisco and win that game. And then we got Jacksonville heading over to Tennessee. I'm going to take Jacksonville. Jacksonville's on a roll right now, right? They're so inconsistent that we don't really necessarily know what we're going to get from them boys. But Tennessee's looking for the first-round pick. Let's just be real here. Looking for that first-round pick. A massive game is for the Colts. And this one's actually crazy because the Colts, Houston, coming off a big win, big performance from the defense, is heading over to Indianapolis to play the Colts. And there's actually some pretty big news that came out about the Colts. Let me find it here. So, Rappaport reported this morning, Daniel Jones, who has been dealing with a lower leg injury, suffered a fracture in his fibula, sources say. Jones was a full participant today, and one source said he looked good. Jones will continue to try and play through it. Toughness, never questioned. Another person who knows Daniel Jones well said, this is not an injury he's concerned about. So it sounds like it's a pain tolerance injury, and it's just a matter of whether or not Daniel Jones is going to be able to play through it. I guess we're going to find out. We're going to find out what type of effect it has on them. The one thing, I mean, damn, this is a tough time to have an injury, that's for sure, with Houston coming over. I don't like this because Colts are supposed to be our second favorite team on the show. We've kind of bought into that whole storyline, but man, it feels like I don't want to jump off the bandwagon, but I will for one more week. For one more week, we got to jump off this thing. We got to give it to Houston, man. They're balling, bro. And CJ Stroud's coming back. How is that going to look? It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how it looks for the Colts, man, because, bro, Daniel Jones got beat down last week by the Chiefs. And now we're bringing in a better defense that applies more pressure, sends a couple more blitzes, but most importantly, wins on the front four alone. They don't need to do all that. I'm gonna take Houston to get the upset, if it's even considered an upset. And then that the conversation in that division, wide open, baby, wide open. I still like the Colts winning it, but I don't think they win this weekend. You got New Orleans heading over to Miami. A bit of a snooze, huh? Now we're on that time of the season where some of these games we just don't really care about. I'm going to take Miami, though. Atlanta, New York. I was talking to my brother about how these shows kind of make you fall in love with people, right? And I kind of fell in love with Kirk Cousins with the quarterback show. Just a little bit. He's a dog. Feels like a dog. Going against New York, coming off a bye. New York seems to have kind of not found. They've won. They won a couple of games, so they're slightly back. I'm gonna go ahead and take Kirk Cousins to go over to New York and surprise a couple foes. Arizona heading to Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield questionable, may or may not play. How do we feel if he doesn't play? Don't like it. But Arizona also stinks. So it's like, man, Tampa Bay. I'm gonna take Tampa Bay because their backs are against the wall right now. Backs are against the wall. They absolutely need to win. And it feels I don't feel like that dog and Baker's going to sit out. There's no way Baker sits out. But at the same time, is it going to affect us more? Right? Right? All right. I'm going to go ahead and take Tampa. But I'm nervous because it's like, is it going to affect us more to have a injured Baker Mayfield than to play our backup? Who is our backup over there? That's a good question. Jay, you mind finding that out for me real quick? Who's the backup in Tampa Bay? Let's go over to the Rams in Carolina. The Rams are too hot right now to go against them. There's an MVP quarterback in Matthew Stafford over there that's just having fun, playing Madden right now. Kaden Williams, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua. Like, pick your poison. Pick your poison. Teddy Bridgewater, that's right. Teddy two gloves. Teddy two chains. He can get it done. They need this. Tampa Bay needs this one bad. I'm gonna take the Rams over Carolina. Carolina, I think they're 100% shown they've improved. If you're a Carolina fan, I feel optimistic about the future. But as of right now, you just hope you see a fight from your team. You just hope you see a fight behind Rico Dowdle. There's a possibility that this can be a game, but it's going to be a game because it's got to be played, but it doesn't mean they're going to actually do anything there. I like the Rams. Minnesota heading over to Seattle. Sam Darnold getting a little revenge, little redemption game. Hey, you didn't pay me. Guess what? I'm gonna put a spanking on you. That's what it feels like. And 9, if 9 shows up, we don't want 9. Oh, actually, 9 isn't showing up, right? Concussion protocol. So we get to see the third string quarterback that if we look back from when Carson Wentz was playing, our KOC trotted out Carson Wentz after the post game. They asked him, why didn't he put in their backup quarterback? He said, I didn't want to put our rookie in a tough situation where he wasn't prepared for it. And it's like, what? Shouldn't everybody be prepared to go in? That interview sits in the back of my head. Like, it's made no sense. You would rather trot out a completely injured quarterback that can't make a throw to save his life because he's hurt. I mean, he already couldn't, healthy, and then now injured both shoulders, and you would still rather send that out to the field than give the opportunity to a rookie or a third string quarterback. You would rather do that than to give the opportunity to see what you got back here. I get it. The game was out of hands, but at least give them a couple reps, a couple in-game reps. It would probably help the situation that you're about to have right now. Because of that, I'm going with Seattle. Seattle's going to win that. Buffalo at Pittsburgh. Buffalo seems to drop games that we don't think they should necessarily drop. And Pittsburgh's defense likes to show up when we don't necessarily expect them to. And doesn't this feel like one of those games where that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, that top 5 D that we see every so often, doesn't it feel like this would be the game that they show up? Doesn't it? Or am I a fool and I'm falling right for it? With Aaron Rodgers being questionable to play in this game, I don't think he misses another one. Not after what he saw last week from Mason Rudolph. There's no way. As much as I told Johnny, don't bet with your heart, bet with your brain. And I want to go for Pittsburgh, but I just think, no, man, I don't know. This one's hard because the Bills, it's like, you look at the Bills, right? And it's like every time we think they're back, they're in their groove, they hit us with an ugly, ugly game. And it's not like Josh Allen has been playing insanely incredible, right? Like, we've seen some ugly turnovers from dude. But he always bounces back. That's the thing. So it's like hard. It's like yesterday, right? Nah, we're not gonna go back there. I was about to revert right back to the Cowboys, and then I'll end up in a 30-minute conversation, and I actually have to go to work. But Buffalo 7-4. They always seem to drop one. This one feels like a coin toss, but it feels like Pittsburgh's backs are against the wall. And I don't know that Aaron Rodgers sits this game out, and I do think that defense shows up. I'm actually going to put the pressure on the Buffalo Bills here. I think they drop this game in Acrisure, formerly known as Heinz Field. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if Aaron Rodgers don't play, Buffalo. If Aaron Rodgers don't play, Buffalo easily. The Steelers are dogs. 3.5 points. Give me those. Give me those points. Give me the 3.5. I'm taking them. All right, Las Vegas versus Chargers. The Raiders, let's get to the draft. All right. Come on, Raiders. Let's get to that draft, baby. That's where we need to be. We want the best position possible if you're a Raiders fan. And as of right now, I think you yourself would prefer if the Chargers came out and absolutely beat down on the Raiders. I'm going to go with the Chargers. You got Denver against Washington. This is our Sunday night game. I don't know how many folks are actually going to be watching Sunday Night Football. This might be the biggest snoozer of all time, but I think Jaden Daniels is questionable to play in this game. Hopefully he does because it'll make it more interesting. But outside of that, this feels like a get-right game for the Denver Broncos. This feels like a game that Sean Payton can kind of play with to find some life in that offense and find some groove heading into the following week. And maybe potentially the Denver Broncos are the number one seed coming out of the AFC. But as of right now, this game on Sunday Night Football, NBC, expect a butt whooping. Expect a butt whooping. And then on Monday night, you got the Giants heading over to New England, and we'll talk about that on Overreaction Monday. But, I mean, it's obvious, boys, who's going to win that game. The only thing about the Patriots is that they like to play to the level of their opponent sometimes. But every now and then you need one of those gritty games so that way it can prepare you for the playoffs. So I wouldn't be surprised if that game was a close one, especially with Jackson Dart coming back. And if you're a Jackson Dart fan, you're probably like, hey, bud, let's learn how to slide. I appreciate you being a dog. I appreciate the dog mentality, but you don't always got to be a dog. And I know some football players, they feel like they're disrespecting the game if they don't go out there and give a bang, bang. But when you're the quarterback, let's relax a little bit. Let's take a step back. Let's chill, bro. Slide. Please. For the sake of the league, slide. And with that being said, boys, what a great win. If you see me, say hello. If you see me in my Cowboy stuff for the next, what is it? It's like 28 days until Christmas or something like that. If you see me just in Cowboy gear all for the rest of the year, just know we're winning, baby. Just know we're winning. We're winning. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Happy Thanksgiving to you and y'all's families. I'm forever grateful for you guys to wake up with me and allow me to penetrate your ears. I appreciate you for showing love back to me as I show love to you. And I'm grateful and thankful for my family that God has blessed me with, my kids, my wife, my mom. And I appreciate for all you prayer warriors that gave a prayer for my mom while she went to surgery. She's doing well. She looks great. She's about as hyped as me right now about this football season. And every now and then I get stuck in my own little world where I am just solely focused on sports because it allows me to put my blinders on to the real issues that are happening in the world. But are those really issues whenever you're surrounded around by people that love you and you love back? So I just tell you to continue to surround yourself by people who love you. And if you feel like you're lost in this world or don't have anybody to go to, I got open arms, baby. I got a lot of love to give and a lot of love to show. I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up there. I'm gonna make myself emotional, but man, I appreciate you guys rocking with me for real. I appreciate it. Every now and then you get in your own head, you start to put yourself down just a little bit, but in reality, I always come back to the same conclusion that, hey, I'm going to have these types of conversations regardless of whether I have them on a camera or not. So why not just put one in front of me and allow myself to be able to get to know more people than just my small group, because I have so much love to show. And I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Happy Thanksgiving. I love you. And we'll be back on Overreaction Monday at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time to react to all the games that were and all the games that have happen. And hey, shout out UNM Lobos. We need them to absolutely win today to get into the Mountain West championship game where, hey, SOL might actually go to it. Imagine a show from the end zone. Shout out to Tim Fuller for that. Imagine the show from UNM Stadium as the Lobos play for a Mountain West championship. That would be fire. That would be absolutely fire. And with that being said, I appreciate the love. I appreciate you guys rocking with y'all. Let's have a day. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Shout out PMS. See ya.